Former U.S. Senator and conservative presidential nominee Barry Goldwater spoke these words during his acceptance speech, that, quote, moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue. It is because I agree with the statement that in every pursuit of justice there can be no moderation towards who and who does not deserve justice that I negate the resolution at hand, and rather advocate that in the pursuit of justice, the discovery of facts ought to be valued above due process. In today's debate round, I'll be bringing you a direct refutation case, or basically contentions that directly refute the contentions brought up by the affirmative. I do agree to all the definitions provided by the affirmative, however I disagree on the value that she presented. If we specifically look at the definition of the value that my opponent presented, we see the word due in the definition. Ultimately, the reason that we value human dignity is so that we can achieve justice. And what a value is in today's debate on is really the highest value, or what is most important. So I contend that the value should be justice because it fulfills the resolution and is in the highest value of today's debate round. Moving on to her first contention, she said that justice is more than a verdict. And I'd like to present my first contention here. My first contention is that facts determine justice. Facts determine justice. When observing due process, we can clearly evaluate that the procedures and safeguards cannot determine what someone is due. For example, if I read someone their Miranda rights, you have the right to remain silent, there is no way to tell if that person is innocent or guilty. Likewise, not allowing police officers to violate a search and seizure rule does not determine if an individual is again innocent or guilty. However, by finding facts such as a lack of an alibi, motive, background information, and video camera footage, we can determine what a person is due. From the facts, they determine what a person is due, if the person is innocent or if a person is guilty. That's my first reason for superiority, because facts determine what people are due. We would all agree that people are due individual rights, but facts determine who is actually due individual rights and their freedom, and who is due punishment. Moving on next to a statement she made, really, I'd like to look at the pursuit of justice and what that means in the resolution today. As I asked in cross-examination, if I violate someone's rights, am I pursuing justice? And I, as the negative, would contend no. That if I violate what someone is due, I am no longer in the pursuit of what they are due. So any example or analogy or principle that the affirmative brings up, whereas the discovery fact violates someone's rights, it is not in the pursuit of justice and does not fall under the resolution. I'd like you to keep that in mind in today's debate rounds. Moving on to her next contention, she said that the discovery of facts basically dehumanizes people. And she gave the example of Savannah White. And I'd like to refute this example twofold. My first refutation to this example was that the teacher strip searched Savannah and the government does not. The resolution specifically upholds us to a government standard. And so the government did not conduct the strip search, the government did not result in injustice, and so my second response is that it doesn't fall under the resolution, her specific example that she gave. With this, I'd like to introduce my second contention. You can tag this as, the discovery of facts maximizes the pursuit of justice. The discovery of facts maximizes the pursuit of justice. Now, as I asked in cross-examination and really pointed out, there are three pursuits of justice. The first pursuit of justice is to prevent crime. The second is at a trial. And the third is to reverse the mistakes that happen to be made at a trial, if there are. A perfect example of this, and I'll go into the principle, was from my hometown in 2009. In 2009, Hassan Samadi was planning to bomb a bomb in the Fountain Square skyscraper in Dallas. But the FBI uncovered facts, including emails, online chats, and background information of Samadi, in an effort to thwart the plot. The FBI ended up selling fake bomb material to Samadi on the day of the planned bombing. Samadi hit the detonator, but obviously nothing exploded, end quote. This story really shows how the discovery of facts found the information, thwarted a bomb plot, saved thousands of lives, and put a guilty person in jail. Had we valued due process in this instance, safeguards and procedures wouldn't have been able to prevent this crime. However, the discovery of facts maximized the pursuit of justice, fulfilled the resolution, and ultimately upheld the value in today's debate rounds. Moving on to the second pursuit of justice we see at a trial. Both due process and the discovery of fact work together, so they are both equally valued. However, what about after a trial? After a trial, sometimes due process makes a mistake. Sometimes innocent people do go to jail, and sometimes guilty people go free. But what does the discovery of fact do? The discovery of fact acts as a check on due process. Through the example of post-conviction DNA testing, thousands of innocent people have been set free, and hundreds of guilty people have gone back to jail because of the mistake due process made, but that the discovery fact reversed the mistake and ultimately reached justice. We see there's a difference. Rather than due process protecting rights, the discovery fact pursues justice, upholds rights, and punishes the guilty. And that's really my point of this third contention, is that it fulfills the second contention, that it fulfills the resolution. It maximizes the pursuit of justice without violating people's rights. Moving on to her next contention, she gave that due process pursues justice for all. However, I asked her in cross-examination, how does due process pursue justice? She said, well, it protects rights. Protecting and pursuing are two different things, and this leads me to my third contention, that due process is arbitrary. Due process is arbitrary. Frederick Bastiat once said that, quote, thus it is easy to understand how the law, instead of checking injustice, becomes the invincible weapon of injustice, end quote. To establish the principle that due process is arbitrary, we have to look at the root of due process. Inside, we see that the procedures the affirmative is talking about are different forms of trials, and the authority over them is judges and prosecutors. However, these figures that represent due process have the power to determine what justice is to be. Judges have the power to disregard legitimate evidence, and prosecutors, the people who influence the jury, have the power to suppress evidence. A perfect example of this was pointed out by Next Generation News when they said that, quote, officers who commit a crime or expectedly break the very laws they are sworn to uphold should be severely punished as an average citizen. Although last year, Chicago officer John Arlen was cleared of all charges stemming from a 2007 accident in which he killed 2 people while driving drunk, despite video evidence. Further evidence that he called his fellow officers was suppressed. The kicker, John Arlen never lost a day worth of work and was never punished, end quote. We see that the facts, although show this man guilty, a due process decision to suppress the evidence and suppress the truth resulted in injustice. For all of these reasons, because facts determine what justice is, due process is arbitrary, and the discovery fact maximizes the pursuit of justice, I absolutely cast the negative ballot. Thank you.